my topic, I was having this conversation over lunch the other day with a friend, and it came up, and it was a question.
Oh, it's lunch with friends.
I don't do work.
No, you talk to us.
Yeah. So you talk to you guys on Facebook.
Get off Facebook.
I'm in bed on YouTube. I'm so busy. And we were discussing TV series and how we've mentioned it before, how the production value of TV series are increasing. And what I wanted to know is if you could have any game, any film, any old TV show or book that you've seen made by HBO into a TV series, what
Ratchet
would it
and
be?
Clank.
Oh.
Do it.
We were going to title this episode was going to be titled.
I'm not that level.
Yeah.
Jack and Daxter. That motherfucking ferry. That's so good.
You son of a bitch.
Does that mean you have to say Final Fantasy? Oh, that's already been done. And I have to say StarCraft.
VR.
Oh, VR.
You had to say
VR, the HBO series.
Yeah.
New one, HBO.
I thought Sam
Master
was
Race.
Downtown Abbey. We're going to have so many in-jokes if people start watching.
Oh no. Everyone, go back and watch every podcast we've ever released.
and you'll get the jokes.
There's only five
And you may just enjoy this one. There's a chance.
But yeah, TV series, books, films, games, what would you like to see made by HBO into a high quality production? Because if you look at Game of Thrones, it is one of the few translations from a book to TV that has been very successful.
Yet still people say, "Oh, well, the book's better."
But they're not.
But I don't think
They're not.
I
hate those guys.
I had a conversation about this not long ago with somebody. I might have been a customer.
Matt is a tattoo artist. He's not a prostitute.
Hey baby, I'm thinking about this thing. I just want to get it off my chest.
Is that your prostitute?
He's definitely not a prostitute.
No, but I watched The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and I am a massive fan of those two sagas. And I just want more of it constantly. You know what I mean? I watch Game of Thrones with Ali, but a lot of the time, we don't have time at the same time to watch it, so we're just so far behind. And we end up having a long break and not being able to remember what the fuck had happened.
That's a real common couples problem, isn't it?
And starting over, we started over, got to the start of season 2, and now we've left it for 3 months.
Are you up to date?
No,
I'm almost a season behind.
I'm over a season behind. It's terrible.
I am.
But I'm
up to date.
I'm like Game of Thrones. Yes, sweet, but I can't watch it because it's a couples thing. So
I do that, but what happens is I lie and say I'm waiting to watch it, and I watch it, and then I just get to enjoy it again. I'm like, oh no, this is happening. Red wedding. Oh damn!
But there's so many side things off Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit that I want to know about.
Yeah.
I want there to be an endless series of Lord of
You
the
know what?
Rings.
Someone's going to comment on this and say, "Why don't you read the books?"
No, because
Probably.
but there's so much. I want to know all about Gimli and
books
Gloin.
are awful. That's why we shouldn't go read them.
Elven name followed Elven name. Into Elven name.
Son of elves, auntie's cousin.
I actually enjoy
But I want to know all about Gimli and Gloin and all the, because there's such a gap between the story of Thorin and the Lord of the Rings part. What happened to the Kingdom Under the Mountain?
Wikipedia.
That they should make.
They'll know.
Yeah, I know, but I want to watch it. That's what HBO.
It shouldn't. If they were going to do it, it shouldn't be the Lord of the Rings. It should be Middle Earth. The series.
Yes. Not.
I like that.
I like that.
Lord of the Rings series has done. It's done.
Yeah.
The ring is destroyed. It was found.
That
It was
was one
destroyed.
story, right? That was one story.
It was one story. It's done.
There's
I
like
want
a
to know
big
more about Middle Earth. I want to know more about what's the Rohan. I want to know more about Rohan. I want to know more about the dwarves. I want to know not so much about the Hobbit. There's not that much to know about hobbits.
Matthew. Let me tell you. You should read the books.
Yeah, I think if they were to make Lord of the Rings or Middle Earth into a TV series, the key would be not to do what Jackson did with The Hobbit. Don't have Legolas turn up for a cameo and be a badass. You can use characters from the books, but don't cheapen it by trying. We don't do what Gotham did and go, we're going to unveil every character in the history of Batman in the first episode just so you will keep watching.
Hated that.
Yeah.
Oh, look who it is. Oh, look who it is. Oh, look who it is.
Yeah,
I'm done.
it cheapens it rather than do what Daredevil did and going, we're going to have one villain for the entire series, which is why I really like Daredevil.
See, I've watched Flash and it's the same episode over and over again with a different villain.
Isn't it very
So it's like a new villain has arrived, right? You've got to learn to go faster.
That is.
And he's like, okay, man, I'll go faster.
I'm trying, but I'm so tired.
The Flash's the Flash's entire plot line is based around like, oh, this person is doing this. You need to run faster. You need to create a whirlwind by running faster. You need to bake some cookies by running faster. And that's
the only credible part of the Flash.
Yeah.
The only credible part of the Flash is his supersonic punch, which is sick. He has to have a run up and manages to reach supersonic speed and then punches a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sick.
Honestly, I do like the Flash series. But back onto HBO, I'll bring it back to my idea, my conclusion, and now I'm going to go full blown childhood nerd here. I would love to see a Harry Potter TV series.
That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, it's the same argument as My Lord of the Rings, though. There's so much avenues.
I want to see the Harry Potter story because this is one of those things where you can say read the books, but those books were quite a large part of my childhood because those books grew up as I did.
Yes.
And the films never did it justice. The films, they cheapened it by missing out so much.
You've become one of them.
Yeah.
You should read the books.
See, I was young enough that like it was during a time where me, my brother, and my sister would sit with my mum and we'd all read it together. Like we were that young then. I know, but like that was during like
it's quite cute.
So cute.
That's
like
not
during,
British. Like,
that was
so
like
American family. Yeah.
The Philosopher's Stone. No, it's just because like my mum wanted to read it and she thought it would be a nice thing to do.
Shut you all up.
Yeah, pretty much. But like we were all young enough, and like my sister, my sister's 5 years younger than me. So if I was, when did Philosopher's Stone come out?
The film,
a while ago.
The book.
Oh shit! I must have been like 12.
I'm sure it was
15 years?
primary school time.
15 years ago, maybe.
I can't remember if it was outside of the movie.
If it's 15 years ago, I was 5, so my sister was nothing.
That can't be right then.
No, either that or it was read to us later. Either way, we were young. And it's been that long, because we read all the books.
I read the first 4 books when I was 12.
I was in secondary school, so I'm going to say...
It's got to be pre-millennium. It's got to be when I was in late 90s. So
I'm going to say early 2000s. 2002, I'm going to say.
Philosopher's Stone, 99.
Oh, that's an adaptation. Hang on a second.
Oh, this is close.
No, I think that might be right. Originally published 1997.
Oh, and wins! Suck it, hell!
That might be right.
You and your get on YouTube.
7K.
What?
No, I thought I was maybe in year 3, year 4, if I was in secondary school like 99.
Yeah, like 99 was the year we...
The difference between the Harry Potter translation and Lord of the Rings translation is the Lord of the Rings books are 90% filler. Which that's part where they just go on random tangents and side quests and things like this, which you can take out to make the films good. Whereas the Harry Potter films, they ripped out integral parts of the plot line to make it fit into 90 minutes.
See, I really get Harry Potter though as a film. Like I was saying, we've read all the books, but I was too young to remember. I can't remember any of it. I remember sitting down and listening and taking it all in the books, but I can't remember it. So me watching the books, it all makes sense to me, and it's a really good film. Watching the films.
He just stares at the book. He can't read. Like,
sorry.
Get out.
read the books.
when you asked this question, the topic's question, Harry Potter was the first thing that came to mind. And for me, Harry Potter wasn't something I massively enjoyed. And I did read the books, and I think I got to 4, and that was it. I didn't want to continue with it.
Have you read the books?
I did enjoy the films. I didn't see the last few until very, very recently. Not a huge fan, but I think HBO would do a much better job of it than the films did.
Yeah.
If I think that's obvious, actually.
I
did a good job.
I never read the books.
But you should
Probably read the books.
No, you can't now. I've tried going back and reading it, and it
doesn't make sense.
No, it's not that it doesn't make sense.
But you
I read
start
it
imagining the characters as the actors, don't you?
Yeah, I read it when I was 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And reading it now, you're like... 2 hours later you finish the book. It's not. I don't want to say it's too simple, but it's
aimed at the childhood.
It's the books were written to grow up with you at that age,
Yeah.
so I can't go back and read them. But if you read them year after year as the books come out, the writing almost matures with the actual.
That's quite good.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
If you was to do Harry Potter, I'd like to do different stories other than the ones that have already been in the movies. I'd love to see other wizards that you've made, like you hear about in like the fiction of the Harry Potter world.
You've slightly been introduced.
Like the new film they're doing about whatever it is.
Later, isn't it?
Yeah, it's earlier. It's pre-Harry Potter, but it's based in New York.
The magical creatures.
Yeah, Magnificent Beasts and Where to Find Them, or something like that.
Never heard of it.
I saw a massive controversy because like somebody got real mad that Hermione, Emma Watson had backed them casting Hermione as an older lady, as a black lady.
That's a theatre production play.
That's a stage.
That's a stage play.
Okay.
They're making a film.
And that whole argument is
Pre-Harry
bullshit.
Potter.
They didn't cast a black Hermione. They cast a Hermione.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no, somebody got so mad about
The
it.
internet went crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like they have with Star Wars.
When, in fairness,
but then
There's no reason for that
exactly because
whatsoever.
they didn't know what was happening. It turns out he was just a motherfucking.
Yeah.
Topic number 3.
There's going to be a big spoiler sign.
Write that one down.
Yeah, but anyway, J.K. Rowling's even stated that she never even notes down Hermione's race throughout the whole 7 books.
There's zero argument.
I mean, a name like Hermione, let's be honest, does it sound white? I mean,
it doesn't sound anything.
Yeah, exactly that.
It's very neutral.
She could have been Mexican. And
Would
like,
not
if I'm
call my
honest-
child this.
If I'm honest, it's closer to Shaniqua than Betty.
Can I have a hot pot as well?
Next topic.
Quite. I've got one actually, and they're making a film for it. But I would like to see Assassin's Creed
As a TV show.
from the beginning. So when he's captured by
Altair.
You know what?
Yeah, when he's captured by Abstergo.
I could only see that as a TV show. I can't see that as a film.
Yeah, is it
There's too many of
Michael
them?
Fassbender?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're filming it now.
You know,
That would work well. This is a series.
I think it'd be
I'd
really
rather it follow the Italian series
Yes,
than the entire
yes.
plotline. Just
Yeah.
entirely the Ezio.
Ezio.
But
I like the idea of
Request
following
Dane
Desmond.
Pache.
And doing the futuristic stuff.
I saw the it like being announced, and everyone's going mental over all these movies that are coming out soon, and I'd completely forgotten about the Abstergo part.
Yeah.
So I was like, just an assassin killing Templars, like. It's gonna be sweet, but
It's going to be sweet.
nothing to get overexcited about. Like it's Assassin's Creed. It's gonna be sweet,
Yeah.
whatever. But like now, you just reminded me about the Abstergo thing. There
Abstergo
could be
stuff.
so much more to it. couldn't
I
there?
hated that when I first played number 1 because obviously they kept it all hush hush until the game came out and you're
Which is
this
good.
assassin and then I played it and I'm like, what the fuck is this doing in modern times and it's all white?
Yeah.
And I hated that and I was like, you had a brilliant, just simple idea for a game and why have you tried to overcomplicate it?
Because inside the game, there was no plot.
Other than
plot,
kill people.
plot in the future, zero plot in where.
See, I love Assassin's Creed because, like, I was saying this I think I had this discussion with you, and it's like I've bought the new one that's set in London, and I love it because there's so much hit. Like, the only one I religiously played was number 2 in Italy with Ezio.
It's
And you met-
auditore.
Best one.
And
Differenze.
it's really good, and you meet Leonardo da Vinci,
Actually, yeah.
and there's a bunch of Illuminati shit,
Yeah.
and there's so much
Confirmed.
so much history and shit, and like you're playing the plot and learning,
Yeah.
and like it's just so exciting constantly. And like the new one, I'm excited for because it's not so much like learning and discovering shit.
Yeah,
like
Charles
you meet
Dickens
Charles Darwin.
is mental.
You meet Charles Darwin.
Is it Charles Darwin? I thought it was Charles Dickens.
Do you mean like Ben?
No, you meet Darwin. as well.
Yeah. Okay.
You meet Darwin and Dickens, I think,
Was
and an inventor and somebody else.
it Alexander Graham Bell?
I haven't got that far yet, so I might
The
not.
Scottish
have met
guy
some
that
people.
did telephones.
I know that they've finally announced a DLC for Jack the Ripper,
Yeah, they've
which I knew would happen.
Yeah.
Do you think
This is
that-
Scotto, hasn't it?
But like, it's so exciting because you're going through killing motherfuckers in places that you have stood, like Trafalgar Square and on the Thames and that, and like across.
I have stood directly on the Thames, on the water.
Anyway,
Who
quickly,
was it? The magician? What's it?
Dynamo.
Dynamo. It wasn't David
No, he
Blaine.
does what he wants.
Yeah.
Probably done it and not told anyone.
To wrap up,
Dynamo does what he wants. He's called himself David Blaine for the day.
to wrap up the topic, when you immediately said it, my mind went back to a YouTube fan made video that came around maybe a year ago from Power Rangers, and I remember seeing someone had done like a real dark, gritty Power Rangers
Oh, I remember this.
fan made video.
It was really high quality.
Real high quality. It wasn't like a professional produced trailer or anything, so it was just a fan made thing. But looking back at that, I think that could make a really cool HBO proper full production TV series.
Especially if they go Game of Thrones and have like an incest backstory and
You
stuff.
could always do that, yeah.
Incest
but-
Power Rangers.
You know, seeing all the
Don't know about
robots and the
got a different
Megazord
target
and all
audience.
that in proper CGI glory. I know Power Rangers has its charm because of how
cheesy.
cheesy
Yeah.
it is, but I think that
And
they are making a new film. They're making
Never
charmed
they're making a rebooted film coming out 2017, I think.
Quickly though,
Reboot.
around the table. What Ranger were you?
Green.
Didn't like it.
Red.
Red.
What?
Didn't like it.
The fuck is wrong with these people? Why are we friends with these people?
I was a Biker Moist from Mars.
that was so good as well!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that was good.
Biker Moist from Mars. Like,
Topic number 7.
not Power Rangers.
That's how many topics we've come up to.
As a kid, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I was always the one with the two swords, and then since I've grown up, he's far too square for me, and I like young guys.
Nerd.
He's so radical.
Now I like the red one.
Oh, Bungo.
But yeah, like, what could I have? I was thinking about this earlier, and everyone so far has mentioned films or books that have already been put into that they want into a series. I kind of want Diablo and the Diablo world to be put into a TV series.
Man,
That would be
have-
so
They would
fucking
have so
dark.
much free reign to go with that, though,
It would
wouldn't
have
they?
so much.
So much free reign and so fucking dark.
Listen, stay a while and listen. It would just be epic. I mean, the first one
Would
in
be good.
itself was just like mind blowing anyway.
Yeah.
But they could make a main character as one of the characters, like a barbarian or a sorceress or something like that, and they could go through the storyline of, you know, uncovering Diablo's plot, etc., and one of his brothers. I think that'd be pretty cool.
It'd be very difficult to do well without,
it'd be
without
very
making it a Dungeons and Dragons cheesy.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
It would be very different because it's that kind of thing where it's quite medieval in the way it looks, but it's also quite magical and mystical.
Yeah.
In fact, it's
Diablo, aren't you pretty much always in a dungeon?
no, not at all.
I've seen a cemetery one time. As in one of them.
Yeah, in the later ones, you're like walking around like outside a lot.
Yeah, does it?
You have to walk from dungeon to dungeon. Like
Diablo 1 was very dungeon crawler. It was like, okay, well, you're on level 1. Okay, you go down to level 2, 3, 4, and you got to like level 25 or something, which is where Diablo was.
And then you go into your bag and you use rope.
yeah.
And then the second one was a bit more sort of, you had an area, and the first area was kind of like a grassland. Was anyone played?
Nope.
Yeah. The first one was like a grassland, and you had to go and kill. I can't remember the boss. What was the boss called? It was a woman with like loads of arms and big tits.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Began with A.
Generic
maybe?
Diablo boss.
I don't know. Either way,
Generic.
Boss 2.
generic Diablo boss, but you know, you'd go and fight her in like a dungeon, and then the second sort of area will be desert themed. So you go through the desert, and the third one was Act 3. It was very Aztec and jungly.
Yeah.
And the fourth one was very sort of satanic. And
The third was when it got hard.
third got hard with Mephisto. And,
Yeah.
But I think they could do quite a lot with the story of that, because you could have each series as well about one of the brothers, because there was the Mephisto, Diablo, and was it Baal?
Yeah.
And you can have one about like each of the brothers maybe.
Baldur's Gate would be a good one. Sorry, I've heard Baal.
Yeah. Thrown the ball.
The god of burnt
Do you not
man.
think The Witcher could work well as a TV
I was
show?
just about to say that it already is a TV series.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a Polish series. You can find it on YouTube. It's not great because it looks like Xena the Warrior Princess quality because it was made in like the 90s. But because the game is it's based on a book. So because the game is so plot driven.
Have you read the book?
I have actually. But Witcher would be a good one. The other honourable shout out I will give, none of you've probably heard of it. It's a series of novels called The Wheel of Time.
That rings a bell. Or
If
am I just thinking of
anyone's read
Tomb Raider?
There is, I think there's around 18 books, 15 to 18 books in the series. And I got bought them all as a child. Never read them until about 3 months ago. And I think I'm on the 5th book at the moment. I'm working my way through it. It sits in the middle of Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings in its fantasy content.
Yeah.
So you don't have everyone's human, but you do have, in essence, darker races. They're called Trollocs, which is, they're kind of like beastmen.
We're talking teen romantic fiction.
They go in the dark when they go outside.
No, but it's an absolute. It is a really good series. There's some things in the book he doesn't do as well as other things. Like I think he's actually, if you look at his romance in the novels, it's pretty pants. But the actual overhanging plot and how it develops, because it basically follows 3 mates from this little village that kind of they're called Tyviran, however you pronounce it, and the world is
name.
the world is, if you imagine, it's built on the strings of fate in essence. So everything's tied together. If you've seen Wanted, you don't understand the concept. How you have these strands tying everything together, but because they're Tyviran, the strings attached to them is almost like a whirlwind. So wherever they go, they just fuck everything up. They just mess fate up. And it's on about how they impact the world, and then the shadows returning, because obviously it's a 90s fantasy novel series. There's going to be the shadow and darkness are coming back. And it's really good. It is really good so far. And it's one of those where, and again, they made a pilot for it, which was based on the greater concept, but I don't think it ever got to production. But I think, done well, could be a very successful TV series.
Time to do a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
We get funded.
We'll do it. 10 years time.
Anything else to add?
I wanted to just shout out, after you said Diablo, something like Darksiders, that concept, but made 100 times better.
Even need to.
Because Darksiders has a good concept and was made terribly.
I have
a lot of people are big fans of that.
4 Horsemen.
Okay.
It's like Nick Cage being cast in the wrong film.
Yeah. I was a fan of the first one. I played the second one, and it's not dark enough. It's like they've...
But it's got it in the name.
Exactly.
Get extra dark points.
The first one's really dark. Like, you start and you're in this ruined city after the apocalypse. The second one, kind of similar start, and then not long after that, you're in, like, fucking Fairy Glen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking green grass, enchanted trees...
That's not what I want in a game that's got dark in the title.
No.
And this horseman that they put in number 2 is called Death.
Oh, well.
The first one was War. The first one was War, and he's a badass, and he's got this big bastard sword. And then the other one's got like 2 little sides, like
That's
a
awesome.
Grim Reaper.
Like Cypher.
The
Pokemon Cypher.
the cover looks fucking sick. 'Cause he's on a horse and he's got these 2 sides. He looks badass. Then you play the game and it's like...
A great plot twist would have been if he actually had nothing to do with like people dying, and it was just he couldn't hear anything. He was dead. They weren't swords. They were
Hearing aids.
You realise these are spelt differently?
Yeah. When you say
You just sound the same.
Use your letters, Ant.
Use your words.
Use your alphabetic spaghetti.
Don't knock it.